Welcome back to the Goal2Go podcast, man. Week 6 of the NFL season, episode 7 of the podcast. Alex, Tyler, kicking it off with another segment of Hot or Not.
Yes, sir.
Gonna see how we did last week, overall record. Going to week 6 picks, who we got for the week. Today's Tuesday, so we got some playoff baseball on in the background. Man, Guardians play at 7:30. 20 minutes, you already know. Go Cleveland. I'm going to start it off. Last week's predictions. We both went same exact record, 10-6. I'm sitting at 43-37 on the year. You're sitting at 49-31. I guess I bounced back from last week. You downgraded a little. You went 12-4 last week. I went 7-9. So only up from here, man. You see me getting better once again. Back to my regular self. So we're going to start it off, man. Hot or not. Go ahead and throw you. I got 3.
You so gonna start?
Yeah, I'm going to start you off with 3.
Go.
First one, staying in your division, the NFC East. Cooper Rush should be the Cowboys starter for the rest of the year.
I'm going to say that's not a hot take, but I don't think he should be the starter. He's been playing really good. He's still undefeated as a starter. I saw a stat. I forgot where I saw it. I don't know who said it, but it was some crazy shit. It was like Cooper Rush was the first quarterback in NFL history to have like a 90-plus QBR in his first 4 games or something like that. Like some wild shit. But I think right now the Cowboys are just winning because of defense, not really because of Cooper Rush. I mean, he's playing good football. He's being conservative. He's making the throws and the plays he needs to make. But ultimately, I just think this team, it just comes down to how really good and elite their defense is playing and the people and the players they have on that defense. I think you get Dak back fully healthy this year. He starts getting those playmakers involved like we know he can. I think the Cowboys, they could potentially be, like a wild card contender playoff spot. I think at this point, 2 teams will make it from the NFC East, and I think it will be the Cowboys and Eagles. But yeah, I'm gonna say it's not a hot take just because of how good he's been playing. But I think Dak should eventually come in.
They still play the Eagles twice, right?
Yeah, we play them this week, and then I don't know the next time we play them. I think it's.
Damn, I mean the Cowboys pull off 2. Eagles could be the wild card team after that.
Well, yeah, I'm not gonna say it's impossible, but
I'm just fucking with you.
I think 2 teams will definitely make it from the NFC East at this point. We play them next week, and I want to say at the end of the season, yeah, on Christmas Eve.
Okay, a little Christmas Eve action. Second hot or not for you. Dameon Pierce has emerged as Offensive Rookie of the Year.
I'm going to say that's not a hot take. Off the top of my head, I can't really think of anyone else. And, the big position you want to think about is quarterback. And so far, Kenny Pickett hasn't really done much to win that award. And their schedule does not get any easier at all. I know they just played the Bills. I think they play the Ravens again. I know they play us. They play some really, really tough games. And it's going to be really, really hard for Kenny Pickett to get his feet under him, especially in that offense. So right now, I'm trying to think. Chris Olave has a good case, I think, down in New Orleans. He's been playing really good, but he just got a bad concussion where he just looked like he was like knocked out on the field. So how long is that going to keep him out? That hurt his numbers. I mean, barring Kenneth Walker could be a dark horse. Rashad Penny's gone down. He looked pretty good coming in for him against New Orleans. Yeah. But I think right now it's pretty safe to say that it's Dameon Pierce. He's had some pretty good games, and he ran well last week against that Jaguars defense that I was, kind of high on. Held him to no touchdowns, so was able to run the ball, control the clock. So I think right now he is a front runner.
All right, the Bucs, but specifically Brady, are back to form.
I'm going to say that is a hot take. They looked really good against the Chiefs. Was that 2 weeks ago, Sunday night?
Yeah.
They put up a bunch of points, but last week the Falcons, If it wasn't for that roughing the passer call, we might have a different story here. It was a lot of check downs to Leonard Fournette. You know, I was lucky enough to have him in one of my fantasy leagues. He had
like 36.
he had like 11 targets, like 8 receptions or something like that. A lot of check downs. I just think we need to see Chris Godwin get back healthy, and honestly, I really think Brady's just missing that safety net at the tight end that he's had for, you know, his entire career in Gronk. But I think the Bucs, they'll be okay. They'll make the playoffs. I think they should win that division easily. So they got time. When they won the Super Bowl, I think they started off like
it wasn't.
They didn't have that many wins. I think through week 7 they were what? They started off slow. They just got hot right at the right time. But yeah, I think they'll be okay. They'll win the division. They'll get some home playoff games, and I think it's Tom Brady. You know, he'll figure it out. That defense is really good too, so I think they'll be okay. But I think it is a hot take right now.
All right, that's gonna go for my hot or not. I'm trying to look. See what their record was. I think they
2020, right?
Oh yeah,
because I remember, bro, they had that one bad loss to the Saints, bro, and everyone was like, "The Bucs are washed. Like Brady's like over with." And then they just started playing really good football.
I mean, they won their last 3. I'd have to go through and look. Just hit me with your hot or not, so I might come back to it.
All right. Hot or not, Geno Smith will be better than Russell Wilson in every quarterback category this year.
It's not a hot take. I mean, we're 5 weeks into the season, over a quarter of the season. Just got told Russell Wilson, he's got an injury. So the Astros just hit a walk-off against the Mariners in the bottom of the 9th.
You just hit a walk-off.
It had to. I don't even know who it is. Oh, it's Alvarez.
Yeah.
Yordano Alvarez, I'm pretty sure. If I'm not, don't come for me. Hate the Astros. Anyways, Wilson, he has that, was it like late shoulder injury? Like,
yeah, I think it's his labrum or something.
Yeah,
like
his labrum.
right here in his throwing arm or some shit like that. Yeah.
I mean, he's playing injured. He had a shot and still, I mean, we all watched that game on Thursday night. It was a shit show. Geno Smith, I mean, even if he doesn't keep playing the way he's been playing, he just plays serviceable. That's better than what Russell Wilson's been playing, unless Russell Wilson comes onto the scene. Like, Russell Wilson's usually the guy that goes 8 games, looks like him, and then falls off.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if he does the reverse this season, then maybe. But I'm going to say that Geno Smith is probably going to finish.
An extension to that question, I don't have this written down. I just thought of it. Do you think he's been playing like this because of the injury, or do you think like there's more to his play and that they kind of just, you know, threw that injury out there because he's not looking the best?
Probably both. I mean, how long has that injury been going on for?
I think they said against the Raiders he got it.
What was that, week like 2 or 3?
I think it might have been.
Either way, I mean, obviously coming into a new offense, a new team for your first time, and he's played in the NFL for, I don't know, a good amount of time on the Seahawks, knew nothing else than Pete Carroll. So, I mean, it takes time to get adjusted, but you can't just blame it on the injury. I've been there, try to blame it on the Baker Mayfield injury.
4.
Yeah. Look at him now. He's absolute dog shit. They need a new quarterback in Carolina. They're ready to trade DJ Moore and other pieces. Come on. It clearly wasn't the injury. And
I think it comes down to more than just the injury because, I mean, watching that game, especially, you know, at the end in that red zone where you had KJ Hamler wide open on the slant, you know, it was just a case of Russ was just locked on Cortland Sutton. He wasn't really looking anywhere else. He wasn't going through his reads. And if you have an injury like that, like, I don't understand why you're trying to play like you don't have that injury. Like, you saw him overshoot Jerry Jeudy. It just messes with your accuracy. You're not going to be able to, like, you know, be that good on those throws. So I don't know why he's playing like he can still make those throws when if he is injured, like they say he is, and he is limited, like, then you should play to your strength and not try to, take deep like down the field shots or, make all these crazy throws when you can't.
Yeah. I was just gonna ask you, do you think it's a mental block in Wilson as well? Like,
I don't think it's a mental block. I think there is a downgrade in weapons. I think DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, you see how they basically just revamped Geno Smith's career.
I was just gonna say, you watched Geno Smith drop those absolute dimes.
Yes, Tyler Lockett is one of the
breadbasket, bro.
Tyler Lockett is one of the best deep threat receivers in the league. He has been for the past 5-6 years, like. And that was Russell's favorite throw, that big high moon ball, the deep ball. So, and Tyler Lockett was probably the best receiver for that. So he doesn't really have that down in Denver. Plus DK Metcalf, he's, arguably the most physical receiver in the league. Just throw it up anywhere around him. He's going up to get it, and he can run by any defender. I just think it's a mix between that and they don't really – I think him and Nathaniel Hackett really aren't on the same page. And I know coming into this year, they were saying, like, it's going to be Russell's offense. Like, we're going to let Russ cook, where you kind of see that he needs a sous chef, man. It can't all be on Russ, He needs help in the kitchen. And I think if the Broncos want to get back on track, there's going to have to be more of them working together rather than, Hackett trying to do things his way just because he was Rodgers' best friend in practice, and Russ, living off of a Super Bowl that he was carried to by the Legion of Boom. They got to come together, do what they do best, and make things work. Until then, and Russ has to get healthy, because if he is injured, I'm not gonna sit here and act like he's not hurt. But Russ needs to get healthy, and they just gotta get that offense together, man. They need to get on the same page.
I was just about to ask you, bro. How long have you been cooking that one up? Like,
I literally just came up with that right
You're
now.
You're hilarious, bro. Yeah, you're hilarious.
All right, the next one. AFC East, hot or not, the AFC East is the best division in football.
That's a hot take. The AFC East? Are you serious right now?
Yeah, the AFC East.
You're talking. All right, the Patriots, they got a big statement win.
The Patriots literally just held the best offense in football to 0 points.
See, I'm not ready to just call them the best offense.
No, but they were.
They like, statistically are. Yeah, you're right.
Statistically,
you're right. I know. All right, let me finish. All right, it's Jared Goff at the end of the day. You saw what Bill Belichick did to Jared Goff in a Super Bowl game with arguably better weapons. Not going to say a better coach, because McVay, obviously a great coach in his own right. Bill Belichick, obviously one of the best.
It was a young McVay. McVay.
But Bill, at the end of the day, he knows how to go out there and get some wins for his team, whether that's his scheme, shutting down opponents' top threats, just eliminating them from the game. That's what he's been known to do, defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
He turned around and handed that ball off to Stevenson, and he was getting some yards.
He was.
And we're going to talk about the Patriots a little bit later with your pick, because I definitely got some comments about who they're playing. But I'm going to say that it's not the best division. I got to think of what is. Obviously, you're going to say the Jets just got a big win.
They did. Zach Wilson has looked good in his 2 games back.
They were playing against a Dolphins team with no X, obviously still no Byron. They're playing with 4th and 5th string DBs, playing with a 3rd string quarterback. Okay, Teddy played 1 play, got hit, and never saw the field again. I think they're looking good. I mean, I just think the middle of the pack, that they're average, above average right now. Especially even with Teddy right now, the best, I think the Dolphins are above average, good team.
Yeah.
And the same goes for the Patriots at their peak. They're a good team. And the same thing for the Jets at a peak, possibly. Not saying it, they might be a good team.
Listen.
And obviously the Bills, obviously Super Bowl contenders. But
I don't know, man. Right now, after last week,
I might say the NFC East.
That's what I was gonna
But
say.
you were gonna say the Commanders.
Outside of the NFC, I don't know what division right now. I mean, you could argue the AFC West just because the Chiefs and the Chargers are so top heavy. But like at the bottom of that division, we just talked about Raiders. The Broncos and the Raiders just blew a 17-point lead. Like, listen, bro.
I mean, it's a 17-point lead against Patrick Mahomes at the end of the day.
I mean, come on.
That's never safe. I agree with you.
I do get you saying, but it's a 17-point lead. Like, come on, bro. And Josh Jacobs was running the ball really, really good.
Oh my gosh.
But listen,
Josh Jacobs turned that clock back.
He did. He tried to get that contract, man. They didn't extend him.
He was like posted with B-Lou and Zeus again.
But we know what the Bills are. Super Bowl contenders. One of the best teams in the NFL. The Dolphins, Tua comes back. The reports are saying it's like he's not gonna die. It's the concussion wasn't life threatening. Like, he should be back within a few weeks. That defense gets a little healthy. Tyreek Hill, I know he kind of had a walking boot on or something. He got rolled his ankle or something.
They say that injury is like 2 weeks.
Yeah, listen.
Saw an IG doctor on it.
In a few weeks, the Dolphins get back healthy to how they were looking earlier in the season. The Dolphins, they were looking like they could potentially be a playoff lock. They beat the Bills. Big win over the Ravens. They looked like they had all the momentum against the Bengals until Tua went out. So the Dolphins have showed us they can put up the points with the best of them and that they're a really good team. The Jets, Zach Wilson's back. They got the momentum. 2 wins that I'm not going to say they should have win, but they needed to win, and they did win those games. So that's really going to help, the morale and everything going on in New York. They're winning. That's something they're not used to. That's good. And then the Patriots, I know I was lower on them, but coming into the season, you were like, we got to give Belichick his respect. That's like he's going to find out a way in. He's proven you right. He just held the best offense in football to 0 points. Now, it was at home, but, I mean, he's showing that even with a third-string quarterback, Bailey Zappi, looking like he's Mac Jones. I mean, they're really not missing a step in that system. Ramondre Stevenson was running all over the lines. Damian Harris went out, but hopefully he gets back healthy.
I think he's definitely out next week.
Yeah, he gets back healthy. That run game could be really, really dangerous. And, I mean, going into the playoffs, that's what wins games. The Patriots have a good defense. Jack Jones, the rookie, is playing like the defensive rookie of the year right now. He's locking up. The Patriots always just seem to find, some random-ass corners from nowhere. They just play super good. I mean, that's just what they do. And they have a really good run game. So, listen, 1 through 4, I think the AFC East can make an argument for the best division, but I am going to say it's the NFC East. But, all right, after last night's game, Chiefs came back, 17 points. Travis Kelce just with 4 touchdowns. Are the Chiefs the clear Super Bowl favorites right now?
That's not a hot take, but clear, if you're going to throw the word clear in there, I would say hot take. Because of the Bills, possibly the Chargers and whatnot, but you'd be dumb to overlook them and be like, oh, they lost Tyreek Hill. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, Travis Kelce's going to get open. He's quote unquote aging. They said before this season, it didn't look like it. Jarrett McKinnon was running the ball. I'm like, what is going on? Clyde Edwards has been a passing down back that
Pacheco's looking nice too. The rookie
loves Pacheco. They love him, too. They got a nice committee over there. They trust all 3 of their backs. I saw Juju. He grabbed a couple last night.
Yeah, he got involved. MVS caught a few.
MVS.
Like everyone.
I mean, you look at it. Mahomes is going to find target. Like, it's Patrick Mahomes. Last year was a down year. Mahomes threw a couple interceptions. Like, maybe league average. I don't know. He wasn't sitting there throwing, 3 interceptions for the whole year, and everyone's like, Mahomes isn't him anymore. He clearly showed that Mahomes is him. Like, it doesn't matter who he's throwing to. He has Travis Kelce. You saw it against the Bills. That last drive, game-winning field goal. The last drive in the fourth quarter, the game-tying field goal, send it to overtime, then win it again. You saw he went to Travis Kelce. That's his guy. That's who he's looking for. That's his favorite target. I mean, end of the day, Chiefs, you'll see them in the AFC Championship game. Keep in mind, Browns were 1 call away from beating the Chiefs in the playoffs
And
2 years ago.
I think kind of to what you mentioned, like last year, you said like, yeah, Mahomes had a down year. He kind of looked bad. He threw a few interceptions, and I think you can really, point that to being where we saw a big shift in how defense was played in the NFL last year, and it goes back to how the Bucks beat Mahomes. Now you basically see every team running at cover too high safety. You're not beating us deep. Like you got to hit the checkdowns. And against the Bills last year, the Bills beat the Chiefs, I'm pretty sure, in the regular season. But in the playoffs, the Chiefs came back and beat them in like arguably the greatest game ever. But during the regular season, that's kind of where we saw like that drop off or fall off with Mahomes, where he went against an elite defense. The Bills are kind of they're the ones that made that two safety high look really really popular now. They had Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer, although I know Hyde is out now, but before that's kind of what the Bills are known to run in. When the league kind of changed, and that was like Mahomes like kryptonite, or like Mahomes can't beat the too high, like he can't take the check down, or he's only can hit Tyreek Hill like 50 yards down the field. But I think we've seen this offseason, Mahomes and Andy Reid, they worked on that. They knew coming into this season that's all they were going to see was a too high safety. So now with no Tyreek Hill, Mahomes kind of has no choice but, to hit those short reads over the middles, look at the checkdowns more. And I think we're seeing a more efficient Patrick Mahomes now.
I will say, you said the Bills invented it. One guy, I'm going to say it again, fired Joe Woods, but I think he started in the 2020 playoffs against the Chiefs. They just played back. They just let the Chiefs beat them short. Mahomes got away with the one deep ball against them. Obviously, I vividly remember that whole game, but
well, yeah, but Todd Bowles made it in the Super Bowl. That was like the big thing,
You're right. I mean, and that's what every defense started. Like every defense,
and not even against the Chiefs. Like everyone runs that now.
Yeah,
like
Josh Allen, you gotta play, bro,
too high. Like
98 yards to Gabe Davis. Can I just? Gabe Davis, UCF product.
3 catches for like 170 yards.
They're like 2 touchdowns. Just stole it right out of Fitzpatrick's hands, bro. But you got another hot or not for me.
Yeah, one more. Hot or not, there's no dominant team right now in the NFL.
That's not a hot take. I mean, you're sitting here 6 weeks into the season. You're going to say probably the Eagles. I mean, it's the NFL. You can't be a for sure win team. Do you remember when the Chiefs lost the Super Bowl against the Bucks? It was me and you. We were talking. We were like, "Oh, are you really gonna bet against the Chiefs? They're clearly the most dominant team like to ever play football. Like they don't lose this and that." And they went out and lost to the Bucks. I mean, it's NFL football. You go out there every Sunday. The opponent has a chance to win no matter how bad you think their team is. Yeah. There's always a chance to win. You could be dominant, but you can never just be that team that's never getting beaten. There's one undefeated team ever for a reason. I would say it's a hot take 100% of the time. So I'm not even getting into that. I know what you were thinking.
What was I thinking?
You were thinking, oh, this man gonna bring up the Dolphins again, bro. Like only undefeated.
Mean, all Dolphins fans do bring that up.
I could care less.
Majority of them were never even alive to see that happen.
Bob Greasy, man.
But yeah, I do agree that right now that even though the Eagles, my favorite team, is undefeated right now at 5-0, I really don't think they've been dominant in their wins. I think in some of them they have, but I really just think their wins have just came down to them, playing better football, better coaching, and just finding ways to win the game, not really dominating. And
that's the thing. You got to find ways to win football games. You can never dominate in a whole season, every quarter of 17 games, bro. It's too much of a toll. It'll never happen.
Well, yeah, but I feel like in dominant football teams, you made a good point. Like, it is the NFL. Like, teams are going to lose. But, I mean, like, last year, when the Bengals were hot, they felt like a dominant team. Like that Joe Burrow to Jamar Chase connection. It just felt like nobody could stop it.
I agree with you.
Brady and the Patriots for like however many years, they were a dominant team. You knew Bill Belichick was going to take away your best player, and Tom Brady was going to go out there, play efficient football, throw the ball around, and win the game. Now, there was times they lost and stuff, but kind of when Patrick Mahomes first came in, the Chiefs really felt like a dominant team when they had that first Super Bowl win. The Packers at times have really felt dominant. You know, they've lost like 3 games multiple seasons. Like, you just knew the Packers were going to go out there. They were going to win that division. I feel like now there's a lot more diversity in NFL.
Anyone could go up for grabs. I mean, it's anyone's year.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah. But that was it. You ready to get into predictions?
Yeah, man. Let's lock in Thursday night football. When you just thought it couldn't get any worse, folks.
I was thinking the same exact thing.
We were sitting there. I was talking to one of my homeboys, and he was like, "Oh, I can't get any worse." My coworker pulled out the next Thursday night game, and I was like, "Oh, this shit could get worse."
For last Thursday, after that game, if you would have asked me, like, right after, like, come up with a worst Thursday night football game.
Oh, the
like,
NFL got it for us.
This dead ass might have
Roger
been the game
Goodell got it.
Like, not even looking at the schedule. Like, Commanders versus Bears, that would have been, like, the pig.
Yep, the Washington Commanders in Chirac against the Bears. Right. I got the Commanders. Right. Thursday night football. I don't know. You were talking it's going to come down to home field. It could. I'm just honestly rolling the dice on this one with the Commanders, and maybe for Carson Wentz to step up after his coach called him out.
Yeah, I genuinely think right now the Bears are playing better football than the Commanders. Last week Justin Fields he broke our number. He had 300 yards last week against the Vikings passing.
You know, I saw that catch by Darnell Mooney, and I was thinking, I didn't even know. I didn't look at his final stat line.
Yeah, he had about 300 yards. I think right around 300 exactly.
Nah, they played the
Vikings.
208. So he didn't go over 225.
He only had 208.
He probably had like 100 rushing.
Oh, I must have been looking at it wrong. I thought it was like 208.
118 QBR though. I mean, Justin Fields, he did his thing. That's his highest QBR of the season. He's averaging a 76. He had 208 through the year.
I'm tripping. He had a big run callback too. That was like callback for like holding or something.
He went 47 yards, averaging 6 yards a carry.
And that final drive, he was playing really good. He made some big throws, but it just came down to the receiver just got the ball stripped out of his hands instead of running out of bounds. But I just think, the Bears at home, their defense has been playing feisty. And it really just comes down to, I think the Bears head coach believes in their quarterback and the Commanders head coach doesn't believe in theirs. I mean, we saw what Ron Rivera said when he was asked about, why aren't the Commanders playing up to the level that the rest of the teams in the NFC East are, and he simply just said quarterback, which I think that does have a big effect in it, but I mean, the Commanders just haven't been good, like, all around on the ball. They come into the year, on paper, they have, like, the best defensive line. They really haven't been generating any. He's been under pressure so much. He's one of the most sacked quarterbacks in the league, and he's really not making good decisions under pressure. So I think the Commanders could win. I mean, we saw in week 1 they scored a bunch of points, but at the end of the day, at home,
moving on, the Baltimore Ravens at MetLife against the Giants, the G-Men. You saw Lamar Jackson against the Bengals Sunday Night Football. He did his thing, took the game in his own hands. And you saw Justin Tucker. He said he's a system kicker.
Wait, what?
You didn't see that? He said, perfect snap, perfect hold laces.
Wait, who said that?
Justin Tucker.
Said that
he said he's a system kicker. He said that the ball basically kicks itself.
I mean, technically, we can't argue it because we've never seen him on another team. So
does he want to take over Cade York's job in Cleveland, and he could come be a system kicker for us because we need it.
That's why you drafted a rookie kicker, man.
Yeah, he's not. Week 1 had our hopes high, and now our only hopes in Cleveland is the Guardians right now, facing Garrett Cole. But I got the Ravens, man. They played good against the Bengals, who you picked to win the Bengals last week. I said the Ravens. We know that sometimes they can't get it done.
Should have won.
They should have, 100%. But Lamar Jackson just keeps playing up to his MVP level.
He did not have a good game last.
He didn't, but I mean, he got the job done.
The final drive, he did
exactly.
But before that, he played bad. He had a bad interception. He missed 2 touchdowns, 2 bad misses. He was not having a good game, but I got to give it to him on the final drive. He got it done with his legs. He was running all over the Bengals.
And I mean, End of the day,
Zach Taylor is
it's
why the
obviously
Bengals lost.
him and Mahomes up there for MVP race. The Giants, they're able to squeak one out against the Packers on a good defensive play. I just don't think against Lamar Jackson you contain his mobility. Nor do I really think the Giants should be. What are they, 4-1? Like,
Yeah.
I got the Ravens on the road.
I do also have the Ravens on the road. I mean, I believe in Lamar Jackson more than I do Danny Dimes. But I think this game will be a lot close. I think it'll be a competitive game.
Yeah.
I think it will be like – I think, honestly, the Giants can keep this game within a touchdown. Now, I don't think – it might not come, down to the very, very end. But I think it will be a competitive game. The Giants are playing really, really good right now. Brian Dable is looking like he might, he was the answer to the head coaching job that the Giants just seem to not have gotten right since they fired fucking Tom Coughlin. Like, it's been that long, But hopefully it's looking like Brian Dable is that answer. He's got those guys playing really good. They're well coached over there. That run game is super, super strong. And, Daniel Jones, he just has to, they're asking him to be a game manager, And that's a really interesting kind of point because Brian Dable last year he was with the Bills running that Bills offense and he had arguably the most talented quarterback in the league, Josh Allen, in terms of just pure arm strength, being able to have one of, if not the strongest arm in the NFL, and just being such a physical force on the ground, being able to run through people, being such a big imposing quarterback, to Daniel Jones, where he's like the complete opposite of Josh Allen. He's limited arm talent-wise. He can't make all the throws Josh Allen does. And where the best thing that Daniel Jones does is run. He's not a physical bruising runner like Josh Allen is. Daniel Jones, he's trying to run by you, So I think it's really interesting how Brian Dable was able to make that shift from, one of the top, if not the top talented quarterbacks in the league to one of the bottom quarterbacks to where, he was kind of able to carve out a game manager role for him. So I think, the Giants have a bright future, but I just think the Ravens, I think that was a big win for them last Sunday night against the Bengals. They figured it out. They got it done. And I think the Ravens start rolling. They win a few games on here. They get a good winning streak. Lamar plays better against the Giants, and I think the Ravens do come out in a close one.
The Ravens take sole possession of first place in the North. Divisional win. You talked about a big one. Moving on, the Jags going over to Indianapolis against the Colts. It's week 6. This is the second time they're playing each other.
Yeah. Got shut out the first time.
Yeah. Obviously, you're coming back with the revenge. I'm steamrolling with the Jags. The Colts just don't look like too good at all. Is JT going to play? Probably. Hines, I don't even know after I started him last week, and he just went out with that terrible concussion. I got the Jags. Hopefully their offense plays a little bit better this week. T-Law, get the weapons involved. Kirk really didn't do too much last week.
No one really did anything.
Yeah, the running game was kind of non-existent. So I'm kind of looking for them to step it up a bit. The Colts, I'm just not buying into Matt Ryan, and unless he's force-feeding Michael Pittman for 30 throws or Jonathan Taylor's
not even Michael
off.
Pittman at this point. It's fucking Alec Pierce, bro. He's like the rookie from Cincinnati. He's the one that's been having a few good games the last 2 or 3 games. Michael Pittman hasn't even really been getting that many looks.
Yeah, he hasn't. And at the end of the day, I'm not buying into the Colts after I had those high hopes for him. I've seen enough from them almost.
Yeah, I mean, if the Jaguars don't lose to the Texans at home without scoring a touchdown, I feel a lot better. The Colts go on the road against Denver. I mean, I know it's the Broncos. We saw the game. It was ugly, but I mean, when it comes down to it, like you said, you just got to find ways to win games, and the Colts found a way to win that game in Mile High. Although the team might not be that good, that's never an easy place to play. I just really think, especially after getting embarrassed by the Jaguars earlier in this year, not scoring any points at all, I think the Colts, they have something to play for. They don't want to, get swept by the Jaguars. At home, I think they'll be a little more comfortable. And Trevor Lawrence has got to turn it around. He looked really hot to start the season off, but last week, not the best. I just think the Colts, they find a way to get it done at home.
Yeah, you said it. The Colts obviously want vengeance. The Jaguars got to have a chip on his shoulder as well, not against the Colts, but after what happened last week to the Texans.
Yeah.
Moving on. Cincinnati Bengals in New Orleans at the Superdome against the Saints.
The Browns games.
Oh, Yep, my bad. Got ahead of myself.
Damn, you don't want to talk about the Browns? They're that bad right now?
Dude, all right. Well, I'll get straight to it. The New England Patriots on the road at First Energy Stadium against the Cleveland Browns. I picked the Browns. First off, Stevenson probably have like 15 carries, 400 yards on the ground.
Yeah, Eckler went crazy.
The Browns had the most missed tackles, and I don't think anyone on the defensive tackle position had more. Sorry, Ramirez struck out. I don't think they had a lower grade. Everyone was 40 or below at the defensive tackle position. There was no effort, no heart from that tackle position. Once again, a Joe Woods coach defense. Miscue after miscue after miscue. They have no discipline. And it's not just Joe Woods at this point. Kevin Stefanski, his team has zero discipline whatsoever. It's just they go out there and they play. Like it's just pick up football. Like he calls good plays, like, yeah, cool. But there's zero discipline in this team, and there's
no execution.
None. It's so bad to watch week in and week out. Jacoby Brissett, you put the ball in his hands at the goal line to throw an interception. Okay, cool. Your defense comes out, and the Chargers gift wrap you the ball in their own territory on 4th and 2. Your defense comes through, gets a stop. You're like, okay, that's big. What do you do? First down, incompletion. Second down, what do? You got Kareem Hunt in the game. Now, Kareem Hunt, good running back, above average. Obviously, I think they're the best duo in the league. But you have Nick Chubb, who has 400 yards after contact this year. 400. He has 500 yards rushing. And Nick Chubb's not in the game. Second down and 10. You hand the ball off to Kareem Hunt. Then you force a no-huddle, make Jacoby Brissett throw the ball again. Has to be towards the boundaries because it can't go in bounds. It can't go up and clock it. They got to run a field goal unit. What does he do? He throws an incomplete pass. Katie York, 50-plus yards, wide right. I don't know how you do that in that last drive. Nick Chubb not in the game. Nick Chubb was having a field day running. And Kevin Stefanski just, I don't know, the Browns below. But I picked them.
Story of a Browns fan. This was a very, very close one for me. I originally had picked the Browns, but then it just came down to kind of what you said. The Browns not being disciplined, them not being able to close out games. The Browns legitimately, like seriously, right now could be 5-0.
They were up 14-0 too against the Chargers.
The Browns easily could have been 5-0 right now, but it just comes down to them not being able to finish games, like you said, and not being disciplined, not executing. And against the Patriots, they're probably going to be one of not the best team when it comes to finishing games, executing, being disciplined, playing smart and good football, coached by arguably the greatest coach of all time. So when you put those two together, I just think, that good football is always going to beat sloppy football. And I think it could be a close game. And Ramondre Stevenson has been looking hot, and the Browns' run defense has not been that good at all. So I think the Patriots run the ball a lot, kind of win that time of possession, play really good defense. I don't think they can slow down Nick Chubb because right now he's looking like the best back in the league. Well, I think they do their best to bottle him up so that Nick Chubb doesn't beat them. And I think also in another close game, the Patriots they outstand the Browns.
Yeah, Nick Chubb's in his own world, and the Browns. I forget who it was, but they just signed a D tackle. And obviously got Deion Jones. Saw people saying washed. Said the same thing about Clowney. Hopefully.
You need Chad Thomas back, man.
Yeah, all right. Major 9. Chad Thomas, 3rd-round pick. That was John Dorsey's doing. All his picks were basically busts. I'm pretty sure Corey Coleman was one of them, too.
Corey Coleman.
Yeah, exactly. Moving on.
He was good until that one drop on 4th down.
Like, the one drop on 4th down that
ruined his career.
And I mean, the Browns went defeated that year because he
won.
catches that ball, they win. I mean,
wasn't that Deshaun Kaiser at quarterback that year?
Probably, bro. It was a rotating. It was like Deshaun Kaiser, probably like I don't even know, bro.
Who was that other quarterback? Fuck, I think he was from like USC, bro.
Man, Cody Kessler.
Yeah, Cody Kessler.
Man, it was just a revolving door with them QBs, bro. I remember Kaiser came in one game, balled. I'm like, all right, he's the guy. Still wanted the Browns to take Teddy Bridgewater over Johnny Manziel. Maybe they would have never went defeated.
Johnny football.
Moving on, the Cincinnati Bengals in New Orleans. Before I got ahead of myself, playing the Saints. Bengals after last week, you said Zach Taylor should take the blame for the loss. They just got to come out and play better. The Saints obviously, Taysom Hill getting a little more involved, like what they're doing with Taysom Hill over there, especially with Jameis out.
I mean, when Andy Dalton's your quarterback, you just want to get the ball to somebody else.
Exactly. I mean, they were looking pretty good. Just keep it rolling. But at the end of the day, the Bengals, you're going to have to see them come back to form, or at least somewhat decent, and get the job done and win a game. I think this is a turning point for the Bengals either way. If they win, obviously, I think they could turn their season around and compete for a playoff position. Mm-hmm. If they lose this game, I don't think they really have what it takes to make the playoffs unless they somehow find a way to beat the Ravens again, the Browns twice, the Steelers, and just win their divisional games with sweeping the rest of the year.
Yeah, I kind of agree with everything you just said. The Bengals, this is kind of like a do or die. To where last week it was a do or die for both teams, but I think it was more for the Ravens than it was the Bengals last week. But this week, since they lost, this is a game they should win. They have to win. The Saints, kind of like you said, they look good. They've been playing some scrappy football. Honey Badgers have been a nice addition in the back end for them. He's been making plays. Cam Jordan kind of got active last week too, so it was good to see him back making plays. But I just think Zach Taylor has to believe in his team and has to just stop calling it's when I was watching the Bengals game and I wasn't watching this game fully invested. I was on and off, I was on my phone, on my laptop, I just had it on in the background. Every time I looked up, there was only one of 3 plays being called on offense for the Bengals. It was either a run up the middle, and Joe Mixon has had the worst rushing season out of any running back this year. He has I don't know if it's the most carries, but he's up there in carries, and he's only averaging 2.7 yards per carry, which is bad. He's they're not blocking at all for him. So it's either that, a bubble screen to Jamar Chase, or Joe Burrow is just throwing up a prayer down the sideline. That offense just really doesn't seem like it's doing a good job getting its players open, and you have talent on that roster to get open. I know T. Higgins was banged up last game, and he couldn't really come back, and that hurts. But, I mean, you have Joe Burrow at quarterback. You have Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon out of the backfield. Hayden Hurst is looking like a good addition to that offense. He's getting involved. But I just think you have to, be more creative and believe in your playmakers down the field more. And hopefully this week the Bengals can do that and Joe Burrow can make plays. The offensive line has been a little better than the past few weeks, but Joe Burrow's still under pressure getting hit. I just think the Bengals, they have to go down to New Orleans this week and take care of business, and ultimately I do think they get it done.
He's averaging 3.1 yards per carry.
Oh, okay, so he brought it up a little bit the other night.
96 carries.
That's, yeah.
Moving on, Tampa Bay Buccaneers once again, still don't know what it's called, Steelers Stadium. They're playing the Steelers. Home game for the
Heinz
Steelers.
Field.
Yeah, Heinz Field. Still going with that. I got the Bucs here. saw the Steelers last week just kind of first drive had the Bills backed up, and you're sitting there like, well, damn. I mean, had them like 3rd and 18. I don't know, something ridiculous.
I think he muffed the kick was muffed or something like that, and they got it close to the goal line.
The Bills? Is that what? I mean, either way,
but yeah,
it was 3rd and long, and Josh Allen just throws a ball right into Gabe Davis's stride. Touchdown, 98 yards.
Yeah.
He ripped the ball from Mika Fitzpatrick.
Weight room.
Yeah. But in the next, after that first Gabe Davis touchdown, the Steelers muffed the kickoff.
Mm-hmm.
And Bills got the ball back, went down and scored. You're down 14-0 with Kenny Pickett. You're not really doing much with that. Ring up Judge, sit down, Cal Quantrill.
Damn.
You're not doing much with it, all right? And it's not like Najee's gotten it going. If Tom Brady loses this game, which I don't think he will, just because I think it's going to come down to quarterback play and just his veteran presence on the field against the Steelers to get it done. Unless Najee Harris finally has a breakout game or he's not getting hit 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage, the Steelers might have a chance. But at the end of the day, I just don't see it happening. The Bucs, I think they're too good right now of a team. There have been some good wins lately, and Tom Brady's finally thrown over 220 yards passing.
Yeah, kind of going along with everything you said, you pretty much just summed everything up. And like we mentioned earlier, the Steelers' schedule is super tough. It doesn't get easier, and this Bucs game is another one, like where you're Kenny Pickett, you're like more toward like the middle of the season, and you're making your what is his second official start.
Josh Allen and Tom Brady.
Yeah, and he's facing the Bucs defense, which is one of the best in the league right now, and Tom Brady, who is the greatest quarterback or football player of all time. Not an easy task. They're at home. I think that'll help. Tom Brady has a history in Pittsburgh against Mike Tomlin. They usually play him decent or pretty well, but it always seems whether it be, controversial calls or whatnot. But
that game, I know it's Jesse James.
Jesse James, yeah.
Dude, oh my God.
So regardless, I just think, across the board, the Buccaneers are better than the Steelers. I mean, the one place the Steelers might have them beat isn't on the football field, and it's the head coach, where I would give Mike Tomlin the nod over Todd Bowles right now, but everywhere else, the Bucs are just playing better football than the Steelers. This is going to be this could be an ugly game for the Steelers and Kenny Pickett.
No doubt. And
I got a question.
Go ahead.
It just came to mind. I know the Steelers right now with their schedule and how their team is looking. I don't think they'll win too many games. Now let's just say the Steelers take a guess. They get a top 5 pick. Bryce Young's on the board. C.J. Stroud is sitting there. One of these, this is a decent quarterback class. If you're able to get one of those top prospects, what do you do? Do we see like a Josh Allen, or not Josh Allen, a Josh Rosen and Kyler Murray situation happen, or what do you think?
Well, didn't Rosen get more than 1 year though?
No, it was his first. It was that 1 year, and then they got the first pick and took Kyler Murray.
I think it's just a little bit different. Considering that Trubisky started the season, I'm pretty sure Rosen was just thrown into the fire and kind of said, "Here's the keys." And for Kenny Pickett, they also knew that coming in, he's not just gonna come out and ball like right away. They kind of wanted to sit him on the bench for a reason. But if the Steelers do now, me as a fan of a division rival, the Cleveland Browns, they want to waste their first-round pick, top 10 pick, on another QB. 2 years, they draft a quarterback in the first round. Why not?
Drew Stanton was their quarterback before they took Josh Rosen. That's what I was thinking.
I mean,
Drew Stanton. That's not good.
If they do that, that's just
Mitchell
pretty wild.
Trubisky-esque.
Well, I think they've had 2 different careers, and I think that Trubisky sadly probably had a better career than Stanton.
It's not saying a lot.
It's not saying anything at all, but if they do, they just got to be all in. And I mean, they have weapons on the outside. The O-line's still ass. Like, that's not going to fix it at all.
It's not, but I think if they get one of those top picks and, you're sitting there and Bryce Young is available or C.J. Stroud or, one of these top quarterback prospects coming into the draft are there, if Kenny Pickett doesn't really play up to par and, coming into this year, he didn't have a high ceiling. He was a kind of a older guy, low floor, safer pick. I feel like the only reason it might not happen just is it's not a Steelers thing to do. The Steelers like to get their quarterbacks, develop them, build the team around them. They don't this franchise they don't really make who's it Rooney. He's the Steelers owner, I think. Yeah. They don't really make like those like brash decisions or big splashes in draft in terms of players like that. So it might be hard, but I don't know if you're sitting there and you have that pick and there's one or two quarterbacks there.
But all right, this year you knew that Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud, obviously in next year's draft, if you really thought you wanted one of these guys, you're like, all right, I think that they can be them in the NFL. Even if it was just the slightest possibility, I don't think you take Kenny Pickett. And NFL teams should obviously not just be looking this year's draft. They should be looking ahead, which they probably do. You'd have to think that they wouldn't make that decision and draft Kenny Pickett if they were actually like, all right, I want someone like Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud. Either way, if they do it, I mean, and they get a guy that plays better than Kenny Pickett, obviously they did their job, but you just, like you said, I don't think they invest that much. That's 2 first-round picks 2 years in a row. You could say you gave away one.
But I mean, it's a gamble.
You could have got. I'm not even gonna say an offensive lineman, or I don't even know who's available at that time. You could have got an O lineman. You could have traded away the pick, got some value out of it for next year's draft, and they didn't. So I mean, we'll see. But that's a good question.
It's very similar. It's very similar to the Cardinals.
Exact same.
Because Josh Rosen slid down draft boards. Everyone thought he was going to go earlier. The Cardinals got him
Rosen.
I'm going to be the first one to say it, bro. I was a Josh Rosen believer. I thought he was going to – I fell for the hype. I thought he was going to be the next Rodgers. I really did. Coming out of college, out of UCLA, Josh Rosen looked like him, a multi-sport athlete. I think was ranked in tennis in high school. Listen, he was a good college quarterback. Thought it was going to translate. He said he was going to make those teams pay for passing up on him. It just didn't work out. For Kenny Pickett, I could see the same thing. He fell down the draft board. People were saying Kenny Pickett could go number 1 in the top 5. Ends up going at the back end of the first round. If the Steelers season doesn't pan out like they want, I mean, listen, this defense isn't win now. They just paid Deontay Johnson. All these weapons, everything isn't win now except for the O-line. You draft a few O-linemen and get a few in free agency. All this team is missing is really just a quarterback. And I think if you're the Steelers right now in this league, you have to you can't win without an upper level quarterback. If you're in the position to get a prospect that has the opportunity to become that upper-level elite quarterback, I think you have to take it regardless of what you invested last year. It's kind of one of the things where you just have to accept your loss, cut your ties, and, just bite the bullet, and do what you think will help your organization in the future.
But Big Sean said, man, win some and lose some, huh?
I guess, bro. Shout out to Big Sean, I guess.
And bring the robo-umps in it right now because Andres Jimenez. Oh, okay. But bring the robo-umps because this man fell behind 0-2 on 2 pitches that were out of the zone. Moving on, Niners, Falcons in Atlanta. I like the way the Niners are playing, bro. We talked about Jimmy G getting the ball out quick to playmakers. When you know you're not the best QB, that's how you get it done. You get the ball in the hands of the playmakers. That's why you pay Deebo Samuel this money. That's why you draft Ayuk. Jeff Wilson's looking nice. Defense is looking decent. I think Bosa he's out, or is he injured?
Nick Bosa?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I didn't see anything about that.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. But either way, defense is playing a par. It just looks like they're playing some complete football. Kyle Shanahan, he's going to obviously scheme his way up until the playoffs when he just drastically falls off of his coaching ability. Playing against the Falcons, I mean, the Falcons, they beat the Browns by just, they're the Browns. So who'd they play last week? I think
The Bucks. And
Yeah,
they had
the
that
Bucks.
controversial call.
Oh, so they were in two close games, but I mean, I just like the Niners are the team right now, and I think in that division in the NFC West, I mean, the Rams aren't playing up to par. It's really up for grabs, and I think the Niners are in command.
Yeah. I'm looking at just the point differential and the point spreads right now. So far, every single game this season, Atlanta has covered.
That's because they're underdogs by probably
And-
like more than 4 points.
Listen, they covered 5.5 against New Orleans week 1, 10 against the Rams, which was I thought that was disrespectful. I did not think the Rams. I was an early advocate of saying the Rams are not
you
as
did
good as
say
they
that.
are.
Oh my!
That was an easy cover, and then 1 point against the Seahawks. They won that game outright. 1 point against the Browns, which I told you don't be careful.
Yeah,
They covered that.
Be careful.
And then last week, 10.5 against the Bucks at Tampa. They covered. So I think the Falcons at home, I don't know. I'm not sure what the spread is. I doubt it's like over.
I got you.
It's less than a touchdown, I'm sure. If it's more than 6 points, this might be the lock of the week.
5.5.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't gonna. Vegas knows, all right. Me and Vegas were on the same page,
Bro, obviously
Listen.
Vegas want to cut their check. I said last week that Arizona plus 5.5 was a lock. So I need a lock of the week. We've been doing that at work, man. I got to win. It's like, I don't know.
The 49ers, they have been playing good. Their defense is like on some otherworldly pace. They were like on pace to be better than like the 2000 Ravens or some crazy shit. Their defense has been playing really, really good. But that offense is just what worries me. I think the Falcons at home, they're going to be competitive. They were in every single game they played this year. Other than a very controversial roughing the passer call on, who was it, Shaq Barrett, that tackled Brady, or was it someone else? When they got that call,
I don't know who it was.
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Regardless,
it was a terrible call.
Yeah, it was a very controversial call. We saw it with
You can't even
Mahomes
say
last week, too.
controversial, bro. It was a terrible call.
a very controversial call. I'll only say controversial is because we know Brady's gonna get them kind of calls. Brady gets the bullshit calls, bro. It's what happens. So I think the Falcons. I think this will be a very low scoring game. Whatever the under is, fucking take that, then some. Because the 49ers defense is really good, and I don't think their offense is going to be able to be that explosive against the Falcons, who are going to be competitive. They're going to be they've been in every game they played so far. And I just think the 49ers, I do think they're the better team, but I can kind of see them, slacking away they're on the other side of the country, kind of, there's a time difference, play a factor. I think the 49ers, they slip up in this one, and the Falcons squeeze by in a very close victory at home.
Moving on, Jets at Lambeau against the Pack. I'm riding with the Pack on this one. They let me down last week. Rodgers usually doesn't disappoint 2 weeks in a row. I'm not going to sit here and act like I woke up for that 9 a.m. London game. I woke up, and next thing you know, I was literally watching Rodgers at the goal line throw that pass with like a minute and a half left. So I'm not going to sit here and act like I watched the game or analyze or anything. But at the end of the day, I watched the Jets last week. I know what the Packers are made out of. We've been saying it, that their record is better than what they actually are.
Yeah.
Rodgers is going to find ways to win games at home in Lambeau. I think the moment might be too big for Zach Wilson playing there.
Mm-hmm.
I know he plays in the cold in New York, but I think the moment's too big. Packers get it done. I want to see the AJ combo in the backfield just carry it. They got to carry that
Yeah.
workload.
They were making comments after the game last week where, it was 3rd and goal, no, 3rd and 2, 4th and 2 on like the 8-yard line or something like that, and they passed both times. And I think they said after the game in the locker room, one of the running backs were like, we should have ran it, like we could have got that first down. Instead, they put the ball in Aaron Rodgers' hands, which I don't hate, but I also don't love because, I mean, like you said, you have A.J. Dillon, a big bruising back who can easily get you 2 yards in between the tackles, and then Aaron Jones, get him going on the outside. He's athletic enough. He's dynamic enough to, get those 2 yards on the outside. So kind of pick your poison. But then again, I can't fault them for putting the ball in the hands of the back-to-back MVP. But going along with what you said, man, Packers disappointing loss last week. I said it was going to be close. I feel like it was going to be a good game in London. As much as I want to pick the Jets here, and I really do, I've been high on the Jets. I think the Jets are playing good football. If this was in New York, maybe I have the balls to pick the Jets, but I just think coming off of a loss like that last week, you know how Rodgers is with his, reputation, how everyone looks at him in the media and all this. I don't think Rodgers is going for that shit. He's not going to lose this game at home against the Jets. If he does, that'll be another segment for next week. But yeah, I think the Packers get it done in Lambeau. Jets just really not good enough right now to beat the Packers.
No doubt, but the Packers paid Aaron Jones a hefty amount of money, draft A.J. Dillon in the 2nd round. You got to trust him to some degree. I know it's A-Rod, but
yeah,
you got to trust him.
But I mean, I don't hate Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball there.
Moving on, Minnesota in Miami at the Hard Rock against the Dolphins. Skylar Thompson, two-glove Teddy, Mike White, whatever his name was, everyone loved. I got the Dolphins.
He's on the Dolphins roster?
No, he's not.
Oh.
Everyone loved him when he was in the balling in the preseason. But Teddy should be
the
back.
Quarterback from the Jets?
Oh, no. I don't know who I'm thinking.
Skylar Thompson was the quarterback that was balling, I thought, for the Dolphins.
Yeah, I'm talking about the one way long ago, bro. You probably don't even remember.
Hell no.
It was, man. When I think of that name, I know if we ask Big Max, I know he knows who it is, bro.
It was like
It wasn't even like yadded up, like.
I know exactly who you're talking about, bro. I know who you're talking about,
bro. It's on the tip of my tongue, bro.
I'll find it. Go.
Vikings, Dolphins. Dolphins, I want to see, even if it's Teddy, you got to get that run game going. Tyreek might be out. Mike Gesicki is just non-existent in the offense. Like, he's barely on the field, getting zero usage. I don't know whether it's the Mike McDaniels scheme, what's going on over there. You got this big tight end you drafted, Penn State. He's got to be able to contribute to this team. X may be back. It's week 6, so maybe Byron. I don't think he will be playing, but he might be getting activated off that PUP list soon. Blitz boys, Javon Hollins looked like a beast. I say it week in and week out. Vikings last week should have lost to the Bears?
Yeah. They made a big play at the end.
Yeah, they've been playing close games, been losing some bad games. Dolphins at home. Going to be hot for Minnesota. I just don't think they're ready to play in the Dolphins environment. Obviously, crowd not really necessarily always a factor at Hard Rock, but that weather is.
Yeah, I'm with you. I just think, if the Dolphins were at full force, I think this is a easy Miami pick for me. But just the injuries and everything going on with the Dolphins right now, like, Tua, he's still out? When is he coming back? Teddy Bridgewater, I know they said he cleared protocol, but he didn't come back in the game. Is he going to be good to go? X, he's still banged up. Tyreek with the boot. Like, I just don't think the Dolphins will be at full force. The Vikings, their offense is playing pretty good. Kirk is looking good. After my dead-on take of Justin Jefferson, he's been killing it. He's been balling since that London game where he got back on track, and I just think this Vikings offense will be a little too much for a banged up Dolphins team to handle, and I think the Vikings escape and get a win down in Miami.
I know it's not Tyler Thigpen, but
It's not Tyler Thigpen, but that's a name.
Yeah, that is a name. I can't, bro. I'm gonna come back. I know Big Max was talking about that shit like last week. Meanwhile, moving on. Carolina Panthers in LA SoFi against the Rams. We talked about the Panthers basically selling their team. They just fired their head coach. I'm kind of thinking about it now.
Yeah, I thought this would be an interesting one.
I had the Rams. Give me the Panthers. Something about firing your head football coach lights a fire into these players. And I'm going upset. I'm feeling it. I don't know if Baker Mayfield's a starting quarterback. Give me P.J. Walker. Get Christian McCaffrey involved. These guys want to play for something because, let me tell you, they haven't played for much all year long. And it's not like the Rams will look good. All you got to do is get some pressure on Stafford. And he looks like a lost puppy out there. So I changed my pick. I had the Rams. I'm going Panthers. It's going to be my swing game in the pick'ems.
Yeah, the Rams, I totally could see it happening. And like the Rams have like a Raiders turnaround like they did last year where they got rid of John Gruden and the team just looked completely different and started winning and ended up making the playoffs. But, I mean, right now, that Rams team both of these teams just aren't looking really good. I think this just comes down to, I mean, the Rams are at home, but like we said, does SoFi Stadium really even make a fucking difference?
Hell no.
It doesn't. I just think it comes down to Matthew Stafford miraculously gets one clean pocket somehow, and their playmakers, a.k.a. Cooper Kupp, because he's the only fucking person on that offense doing anything, makes a big play. He has a big game, and I think it just comes down to the Rams are able to put up more points than the Panthers. That offense right now, P.J. Walker, this isn't the USFL. I don't know, man. They just need a quarterback down there in Carolina because it is looking bad. The Rams, their defense should be able to make plays. This looks like a good bounce back game for the Rams, and I think they should win this one pretty handily. But if the Panthers do fuck around and win this game, Brian Burns get active against that sorry-ass Rams online, and Matt Stafford's dick is in the dirt all game, I could see that happening too.
Cal Quancho just walked two people. Cards Seahawks in Seattle, 12th man. I got the Cardinals. They played a good game against the Eagles. Week 6, 1 week removed from DeAndre Hopkins' return to the NFL. The offense has been looking much better for the Cardinals. They're a kick away from tying the game, and just like the Browns, the Seahawks thought they were looking. Geno Smith looked like him, and they still found a way to lose the game to Taysom Hill. Overall as a team, the defense isn't sound. Geno's going to go out, big double play, 4-6-3, get the Yankees out of the inning, see ya. I got the Cardinals, even with Kyler Murray's garbage fit. Absolutely garbage. Whoever saw that little green suit.
You guys are fucking with it?
Nah, it was, like Gunna said, man, he's drowning, bro, because that ain't drip. Give me the Cards, though. And I believe it's either the last week or there's one more week before Call of Duty drops, so K1's locked.
Yeah, the Cardinals, Kyler Murray's been looking pretty good. They've been in football games, but situational, especially him going down with that slide last week, just not the best play there. The Cardinals are the worst first half football team, the offensive football team. And that's kind of shows to where they're down a lot and they're trying to fight and crawl back into these games. Listen, I just think right now the Seahawks are playing too good of a football. Geno Smith, like I said last week, and he's still riding it, looking like a top 10 QB. That offensive line is, I guess, out of nowhere holding up for Geno like they weren't for us last year.
Maybe they just didn't fuck with Russ.
And then they did bring in some new acquisitions. I know they got the rookie Charles Cross, a few other rookies they drafted and brought some people in. That the O line is looking pretty decent. And Tyreek Woolen, I believe, the corner they have out there, he's been balling, making plays. He's like just imagine a fucking 2. That's what they have out there. He's big, long, athletic, making plays out there on the outside. That defense is clicking. Jordan Brooks is a pretty good inside linebacker. At home, we kind of made the joke that the 12th man will be their best player. And I think that 12th man, they show out for the Seahawks. They actually have a decent football team. Their team's winning games where everyone thought they weren't really going to. So, big divisional game. These teams, they see each other twice a year. They play each other pretty good. But at home, Cardinals are coming off of a tough loss last week. And the Seahawks, even though they lost, I mean, they look like the better team. Give me the Seahawks. Give me Geno Smith.
I agree with you. And if Geno was a quarterback for the Browns right now, they'd probably actually be 5-0. Moving on, Buffalo Bills in Kansas City, game of the week, in my opinion, no doubt. Well, I mean, we got 2 good games. These next 2, in my opinion, some real good games. Bills against the Chiefs. I got the Kansas City Chiefs in this one. Patrick Mahomes, we saw him still looking incredible. Obviously, Allen looking amazing in that offense. Just steamrolling the Steelers last week. But playing a tougher opponent, the Bills obviously going to be hungry. I think the Chiefs claim their throne back and beat the Bills. Going to be a good game. I don't think it's going to be a 40-30-something game. It might be like 28-30-something. I'm thinking
the over. I think a lot of points going to be scored.
The over is probably like 66. It's probably something crazy. But I got the Chiefs, man. The Bills wouldn't surprise me. Goes either way. I flipped the coin, took the home field. Arrowhead's always rocking. If this was in Buffalo, different story, though.
It's Sunday night.
Nah, it's a...
Oh, no, it's just
a 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock game, yeah, because the Eagles have Sunday night. What's the fucking... 53.5 is the total.
53.5?
Yeah.
Smash the over.
I
said what, 31-28.
Mm-hmm.
That's clearly over.
Yeah, kind of with what you were saying. I think the Bills right now might be the better team, just in terms of how good they are. And I mean, the Bills do look really good, but at home, Patrick Mahomes and Andy.
Get out! I'm sorry, Stephen Kwan. Fuck Garrett Cole, man. There's no way. This dude had like maybe 7 homers all year. That should have been Rookie of the Year right there. 1-0 Guardians. Finish what you're saying. I'm sorry, bro.
360. Damn, they ending
that short porch, man. That short porch. He's loving it. Throws that's a 4-seam fastball right down the middle, belt high.
That fucking Spike Lee in the crowd. It looked like him. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, the Bills might be the better team right now, but I just think Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, at home, no matter what the score is or what they're up against, it just always feels like they're in games. And I think this will be a high-scoring game. 2 really, really great offenses, arguably the 2 best quarterbacks in the league right now. At home, I just think the Chiefs, that offense, they're so hot right now. Their defense is playing pretty good, bend but don't break football, although the Raiders just put up a lot of points on them. I mean, you got Patrick Mahomes. You can pretty much hold a team to like under 30, and I think you still got a shot to win. So it'll be tough against this Bills offense. I think it'll be a good one, but I want the Chiefs at home, and I believe the Bills are favored.
On the road, that's crazy.
The Bills are 2.5-point favorites,
Yeah,
and
there was no way they put them
yeah,
in 3.
I like the Chiefs at home to cover the 2.5 and to win outright.
Umpires just need some glasses. You just say he swung on that? Nah, there's no way. Moving on. By the way, I'm going to talk about this series just for a little after this. Cowboys-Eagles also might be game of the week right here. Divisional matchup, probably why I would say that. Obviously, Bills-Chiefs playoff spectacular game of the year last year.
Yeah, I think the Bills-Chiefs game will be better, but this will also be a really, really good game.
This is primetime Sunday night. You got Cooper Rush in hostile territory in Philly. I mean, it doesn't get much more if you're a Cowboys fan for you to prove yourself. And the Eagles, obviously, primetime game against a divisional opponent, big game. You want to win it. But the Cowboys obviously got something to prove and nothing to lose, while the Eagles, I mean, I guess they have something to lose. They'd still be 5-1, which isn't terrible. But, I mean, if they lose the game, no one's going to, like, start being like, oh, we should hit the panic button. So I got the Eagles on this one at home. Cooper Rush, I think he keeps it close, but we've been talking about it. The Eagles just find ways to win games. Micah Parsons might be getting active.
He got banged up last week, so hopefully that affects.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I want to see, with him gone, I mean, the ground game might be a factor for the Eagles, might come into play. I want to see how Trevon Diggs moves around, A.J. Brown, Smitty, we'll see. I think it's going to be a close game. I don't think it's going to be high scoring. I think it's going to be like last week Eagles-Cardinals game, like a 2017 type game. Something close. Nothing. I don't think that Eagles offense, we see them explode.
I disagree there. Yeah. I feel like we're just gonna put up a bunch of points against the Cowboys at home, or I think the offense kind of sputters out and the Cowboys they beat us. But I'm being optimistic. I'm gonna go with the first choice. I think we do. The offense comes out, makes a statement against the Cowboys, who are looking like an elite, or they are an elite defense right now, and we get it done at home. And kind of, the topic of the Eagles this season, whenever we have this podcast, it's like, okay, the Eagles won, but this week they won a different way, or they got it done this way. And going in last week, that's, the same exact thing going in. The Eagles is an uglier game. It was closer, but that last drive, we had the ball for like 7 minutes. The run game really wasn't going, and we saw the offense be able to just completely enforce their will over the Cardinals and run the ball down their throat, chew the clock, and ultimately kick the game-winning field goal with a kicker we just signed off the waiver wire last week because Jake Elliott's injured. I forgot his name. Some kicker from Texas, but shout out to him. He hit the game-winning field goal. But
how many yards was it?
I think it was like a 52. It was like a 50-yarder.
Send him to Cleveland.
But you made an interesting statement to him saying if the Eagles lose this game, we're not really hitting the panic button, and I agree. But I think there is a certain way that we can lose this game to where I'd be willing to hit the panic button. Now, over these last few weeks, Jalen Hurts has looked really good, and the offense has looked really good in the beginning. We're like the number one first-half offense. But this trend of we're not able to put up any points in the second half, some of it early on, it was due to us, being up 24 points at half, the other team not scoring. We don't really have to do anything, like with the Commanders or like with, who was it? The Vikings, to where we were just up so big, the offense really didn't need to work in the second half. But last week against the Cardinals, it was a close game the whole way, and you would like to see the offense, continue to be efficient throughout the game. So if the offense, isn't able to get going early on against that tough Cowboys defense, and they kind of, shut us out, and we're not able to get out to that early lead, it would be very, very interesting. And I feel like this is literally the only kind of win we don't have yet. We're down late. Can Jalen Hurts and this offense go down and get us a win? We've seen the defense get us a win late in games We've seen the run game be able to hold on to victories. But I think, and I do think I can see the scenario happening where this Cowboys defense tests the Eagles offense. We're down late. Can Jalen Hurts finally prove that he's the quarterback for this franchise? Is our Super Bowl window really open? And if Jalen Hurts looks good and this offense looks good 4 quarters and we're able to put points up from the first quarter all the way through the fourth quarter, I think the Eagles will win pretty soundly because I don't think this Cowboys offense can keep up with the Eagles offense for the entire game. So if we're able to keep our foot on the gas the whole game, and this Cowboys defense that is elite, one of the best defenses, if we're able to put points on them for 4 quarters straight, then I'll be happy. And I think we will. I think this Eagles offense is moving good. They're clicking. I want to get A.J. Brown involved a little bit more. Dallas Goedert is looking like, if not the best, I won't say the best because Travis Kelce just had 4 touchdowns, but he's in conversation for number 2 right now. Outside of Travis Kelce, I know Mark Andrews is having a decent year, but I mean Dallas Goedert is right up there with him. He's having a really, really good season from the tight end position, and I mean we went from Zach Ertz to Dallas Goedert, and that's looking like a very, very smooth transition. And honestly, Dallas Goedert is a better athlete, so he's more explosive, but I do think this will be a good game, but I want to see the offense come out and make a statement and put up a lot of points on a good defense for 4 quarters straight.
Yeah, Philly Goddard has been balling, no doubt. Oh my God, I might just kill myself. Well, first off, if you guys watch the game, Josh Naylor up 2nd and 3rd. That shift the Yankees put on, I don't know what that was. Had the infield in, second baseman was in right field. Don't know what they're doing. Rizzo threw to the plate. Everybody ended up safe. Then Oscar Gonzalez just grounds out. So, anyways, I just had to bring up that shift because I'd never seen anything like it. They were playing 3 infielders in. The second baseman was playing the shift in right. It was kind of wild, but moving on, Broncos, Chargers. I don't want to talk about the Broncos at all. The Chargers, Eckler's gotten it going 2 weeks in a row. Their offense has looked phenomenal. And when it comes to the Chargers, they were obviously trailing 14-0 against the Browns. That coaching decision to go for it on 4th and 2, I know they're aggressive in your own territory with a minute and a half left. Though. You could pin Jacoby. It was stupid. It was just flat out very, very stupid, in my opinion. They punt that ball. It's not even close. You don't give Cade York the chance to miss that field goal. So I think they need to clean that up. But other than that, I mean, Chargers, I know they're at home. That doesn't really matter, SoFi. But at the end of the day, it's the same Broncos that we've seen. And if it's anything like last week, it should be a blowout.
Yeah, I kind of think at this point the Broncos are like a Walmart version of the Cowboys, to where they have a really good defense. That defense is carrying them. But, I mean, on the Cowboys' end, at least they have Cooper Rush, a backup quarterback who's able to do enough to get victories. The Broncos' hand, they have Russell Wilson, who we thought was going to be, a top quarterback. He got paid like a top quarterback. We thought the Broncos were going to make some noise, but just unfortunately, like we kind of touched on earlier, it's just not panning out. Both of these defenses are solid. The Broncos, I think, are being better. Pat Surtain's playing at a high level. Randy Gregory, he's been banged up, but that defense has been really, really good, holding offenses to not a lot of points. But I just think it comes down to the Chargers. Justin Herbert, he's playing at an elite level, like one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Russell Wilson isn't. Hopefully, Keenan Allen is back. He's missed every game since week 1, I believe. Or was that week 2 when he went out? I think it was week 1.
I think it was 2 he played. I'm not sure.
But either way, it was early on. He's been out. And I just feel like that Chargers offense is missing a piece. And obviously, it is Keenan Allen because he opens things up for Mike Williams and everyone else down the field. Keenan Allen's running short underneath. But regardless, you touched on it. Austin Eckler started off very slow, but definitely picked things up in the last few games. Got it going again. And I just think the Chargers right now are a better team. Like you kind of said, at home doesn't really make a difference, but I just think this Chargers offense will be too much for the Broncos offense to overcome, and they just won't score enough points.
That's going to complete our week 6 pick'ems for the NFL season, and the Guardians just left the bases loaded, 1 out. This is going to be the moral story of this series. And go ahead, explain what you just saw, bro.
Seattle Mariners Twitter posted a GIF saying the vibes are good at 6 o'clock, and they lost to a walk-off.
Yeah, we were sitting here like 7:15 maybe.
Yeah.
The Astros walk-off.
Vibes are not good.
Did not age very well. So quickly, I obviously just want to cover the Guardians Yankees. For the rest, I really don't care right now at this point in time. I know the Yankees are going to be getting calls. They didn't ring up Andres Jimenez on that strike that Garrett Cole just threw right there, but I think that was a makeup for the 2 balls that were clearly out of the zone that were called strikes earlier in his previous at-bat. But, bro, you get bases loaded 1 out and you can't score a run. They're shooting themselves in the foot against the powerhouse Yankees. You're talking the 4th lowest payroll in baseball, the youngest team in the MLB, and you got to find a way to help yourself out. You get the bases loaded and you can't score a run. Honestly, on that ball Jose Ramirez hit for a double that put Rosario at third, you just got to send them because I know damn well they're not getting that in, bro. You just send them. Yankees already made an error. The shortstop with Ike, whatever, IK, I don't know. However you say his name, it just forced him to make plays, bro. And hopefully the pitching just doesn't let up a run because we can't score for anything. I know you want to say just something about the Dodgers. Just
all I'm going to say is,
another top 3 highest payroll in baseball.
Game 1 tonight against the Padres, the UPS drivers, who we've owned this season, despite, the big acquisition where, what was his name? From the
Juan Soto.
Yeah, Juan Soto. Yeah. He was supposed to come to the Dodgers, but I guess he just wanted to lose. Doesn't matter. Listen, sticks they got hot at the right time. Right now, everyone's hitting. Mookie Betts having the best hitting season of his career. It's really just going to come down to pitching. I think Julio's got the ball to start off. Hopefully he can start off strong. And listen, Dodgers are the top seed, most wins in the MLB. We just got to keep playing, the Dodgers baseball. We'll be all right. Bats got hot at the right time. I just hope the pitching can hold up.
MLB really needs to change something. I'm just looking at the 4 highest payrolls in MLB. Dodgers, Mets, Yankees, Phillies. All 4 playoff teams. Obviously, the Mets got bounced. The Phillies, big win today. Game 1, they won 7-6. But, bro,
Scherzer should have stayed in with the Dodgers, man. He should have. It just shows. You got to hit the ball, man. You can have all the pitching you want. DeGrom, Scherzer, New York's. They have some of the 2 of the best pitchers right now in the game, but they couldn't hit. Scherzer was still in the Dodgers. It'd be looking a lot better for him, man.
And for everyone that says, like the Mariners and Guardians are kind of similar. The Mariners have $128 million on their payroll, while Cleveland, they have 82. The Dodgers have a whopping $282 million with that's the Mets. $275 for the Dodgers and the Yankees at $264. Baseball's got to change. There's a cap space in the NBA. There's a cap in the NFL. There's 0 cap. It's just luxury tax in baseball, which obviously when you have an owner who's just ready to throw his gazillions of dollars at him, luxury tax is nothing to them. So, I mean, it is what it is. The Guardians never.
Has this been like a thing that's been talked about before in baseball, like a serious consideration?
I don't think they'll ever change it, but I mean, it's something that
has it been brought up?
It definitely has been talked about. I don't know about in their discussions within the MLB. but
Like fans and shit have been talking.
yeah,
like,
definitely.
It's been a
I
thing.
mean, you just buy it. It's all bought. I mean, you look at it. You got the Dodgers, the Mets, the Yankees, the
Yeah.
Phillies. You can't do anything with the small market team. They had the Guardians projected dead last in baseball this year. And rightfully, I mean, the youngest team in the MLB, they showed a stat. It was like, I think, second lowest or second youngest hitting batter age, first pitching youngest age. Oh, shit. And Quantrill just got taken deep.
Gone.
Who was that, like fucking Harrison Bader, bro? Are you kidding me?
I think it was. Yeah.
Dude sucks, bro. Oh my god. See, that's what I mean. You get bases loaded, you can't score
Bro,
a
he
run.
just look like a shorter version of Aaron Judge.
Go back to St. Louis, Bader, please. Oh my
Stan.
gosh.
Stan should have stayed in Miami.
That shit was broken up a long time ago. That outfield was stellar. Stan, Ozuna, Yelich. That team had potential. Obviously, RIP Jose Fernandez. That was a wild time to be a Marlins fan.
Wasn't what's his name on the team too?
Who?
Shortstop.
Dude, they had like Hanley, Jose, Emilio Bonifacio. That's when they first started.
The Dodgers. D. Gordon.
D. Gordon was on the team. Yeah,
he was.
Yeah. D. Gordon. Obviously, he hit that home run after Jose passed. Probably like the only one of his career, damn near. It's two-seam fastball left knee high down the middle. Now you got to face Judge. That's just... So, yeah, pray for the Guardians, man. We need some help. Goddamn fucking... This Yankees team is insane.
Damn, that was a shot. No doubter.
Yeah, Bader's supposed to be like a top prospect, like young fella in the league, and...
He's playing big in big-time moments.
He like 185 this year, but I mean, you got any last words, man, before we sign off episode 7?
Oh man, it's just, it's nice to be a fan of teams that are actually winning right now. Dodgers best team in baseball right now. Eagles 5-0, looking to make it very winnable 6-0. And we'll talk about basketball. I have my team coming up for the next year. I know
Dude, go ahead and say your preseason highlights that you saw on Instagram and TikTok.
Listen, John Wall is looking good. I know everyone's going to say he's been injured. He hasn't played. Listen, this year, healthy John Wall. I'm a John Wall guy. I'm riding with the Clippers, all right? They're my pick this year. Now, we from South Florida. I fuck with the Heat. I really don't have a favorite team. I fuck with the Heat. The Magic are cool, too. Shout out my boys in Duval. They put me on. But this year, man, I'm riding with the Clippers. PG-13, the Claw. Yeah. John Wall, hit the Dougie, looking like vintage John Wall. It'll be a fun NBA season.
Bro, I don't hate John Wall at all. I actually like him, but you just being the biggest John Wall lover, it just makes me not like him at all.
Listen, man,
but go
sorry,
Heat, man.
I support talent, man.
Team just all heart. Obviously, made no big moves in the offseason. Team's not really.
That was killer.
It definitely was. We got to figure out another year how to get it done and probably watch our core pieces sell in the playoffs. Tyler Hero, man, I hope you're watching this because you need to step the fuck up in the playoffs, bro.
You have to.
Facts. Like, there's no other options, bro. And Kyle Lowry better wake up, too.
Listen, man, all the Clippers will get the 1 seed. Warriors are washed after Draymond punched Jordan Poole in the face.
That's wild, bro.
Although the Nuggets could be good. Healthy. Joker.
Jamal Murray finally back.
MPJ's back. Joker fucking carried them to fucking 46 wins last year by himself.
It's probably more than 46, wasn't it? Weren't they like a top?
I think it was like 46 or 50. Somewhere around there. I don't know. Some insane number that they should not have won. But we'll see. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, anyways, man, appreciate y'all tuning in. Episode 7, Goal2Go podcast. New episodes every week.
Sir.
Goal2Go pod on TikTok. Goal2Go on Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube. Sub, like, comment, share. Apple Music, Spotify. Appreciate y'all, man. Catch y'all next week.
Peace.